Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Jazz Vesper service. I'm really excited to be here sharing jazz with all of you. And before we even really get started, I want to take a moment to introduce the wonderful musicians that will be playing with me this afternoon. So we have here Matt on trumpet, Eric on saxophone, Peter on cello, Michael on guitar. Behind him, we have Victoria, who will be singing. Behind me, Andrew on drums, and Dan on piano. Please give them a warm welcome. I'd also like to thank Professor Robert Nordling, who's a professor here, for all the help that he's given in bringing these musicians together and just so many behind-the-scenes things. I'm really grateful for it. We all just met yesterday, but today they're my best friends, so make sure you show them love. I don't know if you're familiar with Jazz Vespers. It has a history that's drawing from the monastic tradition, and historically, Vespers was an evening prayer service. And then in around the 1960s, Jazz Vespers was started in New York City as a way for jazz musicians who were out late playing at night on Saturday nights to be able to have a service that kind of fit their schedule. So there was a jazz service kind of put in place on Sunday evenings that they could get to and also participate in playing jazz with. So from then, it's kind of developed and it's taken a lot of different forms, and there are lots of different ways of doing Jazz Vespers, just like there are lots of different ways of playing jazz music. So there's no one way that's right or that's appropriate. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to think of jazz as kind of an expression of our prayers. We've been talking a lot about Psalms over the course of this symposium. So our experience is going to be based on Psalm 30. And I believe that you'll see it in your program. One of the things that's pretty central to jazz is the idea of call and response. Are you familiar with that concept? There's a call from someone, from a leader or from a soloist, and then there's a response. So we'd like to think of the scriptures as being God's call to us. It's what we've been left with as a way of understanding who God is and understanding the story of God and God's people. So all of the scripture passages are presented as a call, and then we're responding to that call through song. All of the songs relate to the scriptures that they're associated with. And there's, of course, going to be improvisation, because every time a jazz tune is played, it's a little bit different. It's kind of like the stones in a kaleidoscope, where every time you turn it, you see something slightly different. So I'm excited that all of these wonderful musicians are going to be bringing their own flavor to a lot of the tunes that I've written and that some friends of mine have written and other standards. So as we begin, we're going to begin with a tune called Awakening. And the idea is that we're opening our spirits to be awakened to God's Spirit. A lot of times we have to take a moment to kind of settle ourselves so that we can hear what God is saying to us. And it doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual awakening. So pray with us as we are awakened. Please read together with me. I will exalt you, Lord, for you rescued me. You refused to let my enemies triumph over me. O Lord, my God, I cried to you for help, and you restored my health. You brought me up from the grave, O Lord. You kept me from falling into the pit of death. This is a familiar tune. Let's read again. Sing to the Lord, all ye godly ones. Praise his holy name. Here we have a response that will be a choral response. And the words say, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. His mercy endures forever." So we will play it one time through, and then Victorious will lead us in singing it together. That seemed like it ended kind of abruptly, huh? But you know what? That's kind of how God's mercies are. There's no resolution sometimes. We know that they're enduring forever, but sometimes we expect it to come, and there's just space there. But we know that God is still faithful in that. So thank you for joining us with that. Let's read again. For his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may last through the night, but joy comes with the morning. This next song is called Rain. And when I was younger, I thought that rain was when God was crying. I don't know if any of you have heard that before. But I'm moved by the idea that we don't serve a high priest that's untouched by the feelings of our infirmities. And there is a lot that happens in this world and on this earth that is worthy of God's sorrow, that's worthy of God's tears, that breaks God's heart. And so this song is about rain. you have cried before? So rain may be God crying, but sometimes we cry also. And if you think about it, there's a lot that goes on when you have a really, really good cry. And there are lots of different components to a cry. So you have, can you think of any of them? Tears. Okay, that was a really easy one. So you have tears. But when tears come, sometimes you get one tear, maybe another, and then a flood of them. What about that big kind of racking, heaving, sobbing thing where your whole body's moving and you're feeling it? It's like the bellows of an organ or something. And how about just the sound of a cry? And that's sometimes kind of rhythmic. You have that sound and you have that long, like, where you're waiting forever for the next sound to come out. Or you just have that whimpering at the end when you're kind of coming down out of that cry. I kind of challenged the musicians yesterday when we met, and I said there are all these different elements of a cry, and I would love to see how you can express that musically. Because with our instruments, we can be so expressive, and sometimes if you're musical or if there are certain things that you like to do, sometimes doing that thing can even fill the need of crying. Sometimes when you're sad, just playing the piano or playing the saxophone or singing can express the emotion that's coming through when you cry. So this is a collective improvisation by the Jazz Ensemble, and it's called Cry. That's incredibly scary, to stand on stage with no music in front of you, no idea of what you're going to be playing, and allow the Spirit to play and sing and sigh and groan and moan through you. So please give them another round of applause. So we have those times when we cry. But what can give us comfort is knowing that those tears are not wasted. God gathers those tears, and our tears are precious and valuable. For us, they may just come and go, but those tears touch the very heart of God. And so this next tune is called The Bottle of Tears, and it's intended as a song of comfort to you, written by a dear friend of mine, Ruth Naomi Floyd. The Bottle of Tears.
on our fearful souls. When danger is at every side, God will not forget our suffering. We cry out for His help. Did you know by day and through the night, Jesus will not forget our grief. He counts every step of our weary feet, guides us with His righteous hand, and there is a battle for our tears, from our pain and burden of sin. God looks at our tears with tenderness, and He treasures them, and we know He holds them dear, and we know He holds them dear. And there is a battle for our tears, from our pain and burden of sin. God looks at our tears with tenderness, and He treasures them, and we know He holds them dear, and we know He holds them dear, and we know He holds them dear.
Let's read the call together. When I was prosperous, I said, nothing can stop me now. Your favor, O Lord, made me as secure as a mountain. How many people have ever watched Oprah? Don't be embarrassed, come on. In your whole life, if you've ever seen an episode of Oprah, let me just see your hands. Okay, it's a Christian school, right? We tell the truth? So Oprah has a thing, at least in her magazine, and I think on her show, called What I Know for Sure. And she talks about different things that she knows. And so this next song is about what we know for sure. Because even in the ups and downs of our lives, especially as Christians, as people who are trying to follow Christ, there's a lot of uncertainty in that. But we can have some sense of assurance because there are certain things that we know for sure. So this song is called I Know.
Safety of your hands, I know your word still stands for me. I know you are the great I am. I know there's healing in your hands. No matter what my eyes may see, of this one thing I'm sure. What makes your way just still the same. Through awesome power in your name, I know your word still stands for me. You never leave me comfortless. You're always by my side. I'm resting in your arms. You keep me from harm. I know your love will never fail. Fail, no. I know. You're Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. In the twinkling of an eye, you'll be coming through the sky, and I'll be with you. I'll be with you. I'll be with you. I'll be with you. I'll be with you throughout eternity. Oh, I know. I know, I know, I
Let's read again. Then you turned away from me, and I was shattered. I cried out to you, O Lord. I begged the Lord for mercy, saying, what will you gain if I die, if I sink into the grave? Can my dust praise you? Can it tell of your faithfulness? Hear me, Lord, and have mercy on me. Help me, Lord. How many of us have ever felt this way? You felt some of those emotions that are expressed there. And there are times that we feel that way and we call out to God, and we don't necessarily get the answer that we're looking for. And we know the frustration of that. We know the disappointment of that. We know the sadness of feeling like I'm counting on you, God, and you're not coming through in the way that I would like you to. This next song kind of talks about that. Now, I know this is a worship symposium, so I'm imagining that there are a fair number of musicians here. How many musicians or singers or people who have studied music at all in your life? Just about everybody. So if I say a 4/4 beat, you know what I mean by that? I'll ask Andrew to help me out a little bit. Andrew, can you demonstrate a 4/4 beat on the drums? Just straight 4/4. There you go. See, this is what happens when you get great musicians, you know? So, 4 beats. Now, what about a 12/8 beat? So you heard 12 beats in that same space, that same measure, that would be 4, right? We'll do it one more time. We'll count it together just so I'm sure that we've all gotten it. Okay, ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now that's a pretty regular feel, right? Is that something that you could kind of walk along to? Maybe dance to, for those who like to dance? Now what happens if he drops a beat? Then how does it feel? Can you play that for me, Andrew? Okay, we'll count it together so we can make sure we have all gotten it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Doesn't it kind of feel like something's missing there? So sometimes when we are asking God to come through for us, when we're asking God to follow us, be there with us, Jesus says, well, follow me, but sometimes the walk is going to feel less like a 12 and more like an 11. And that's not as much fun. It's not as much fun to dance to. It's not as much fun to walk to. It's certainly challenging to play to. But sometimes that is the reality of it. And God is saying, in response to, hear me, Lord, and have mercy on me, sometimes the divine reply is a little bit off base. But in God's mercy and in God's graciousness to us, every once in a while, he brings that 12/8 back to us so that we can feel the security and the solidness of that rhythm before he brings the 11/8 back again. So here we have divine reply. divine reply. Sometimes a little confusing. Let's read together. You have turned my mourning into joyful dancing. You have taken away my clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy, that I might sing praises to you and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever. And we'll sing together again, Oh, give thanks. We're going to end with a song that may be familiar to many of you. Oh, how he loves you and me. And in this, we'd like to invite you to sing along. We're going to sing it together a few times, and then we'll have an opportunity for some instrumental solos. While the solos are going on, I know it seems disrespectful to talk while people are playing music, but I'd like you to take a few minutes to talk to the person next to you and just share with them something in your life, a person, or something small like whatever it is that you can think of, that basically just reminds you of how much God loves you. Because God's love for us is not just words in the Bible, it's not just a theological position, but God's love is made real to us in the creation that he's made, in the relationships that he's placed in our lives, in something maybe as small as a flower that you may see at a moment that you're down, or the cry or laugh of a baby that just kind of makes you smile. So whatever that thing is, whatever comes to mind, I just want us to take a minute to share that with the person next to us as a testimony and as an encouragement within this community that we are. So first we will sing the song together, then we'll share with each other, and we'll close out again singing together as one voice, as an affirmation and a statement of God's love for us. Oh, how he loves you and me. Amen. And please, again, thank you for all the wonderful musicians. And enjoy your dinner.